So this is the escape from Mos Shuuta. It is a period of unrest and opportunity in the galaxy. The Galactic Republic is embroiled in a violent civil war. Meanwhile, scoundrels and smugglers, explorers and expatriates, and fringers of all types scramble for a living on the edges of galactic civilization. It's a hard life, but these renegades have more freedom and opportunity than any citizen of Core Worlds. On the desert world of Tatooine, a few such renegades have run afoul of a local crime boss, Teemo the Hutt. Trapped in the tiny spaceport of Mos Shuuta, the renegades have no choice but to steal a starship and flee Teemo's forces. Fortunately, a suitable starship has recently docked in the landing bay, a freighter called the Krayt Fang, captained by a Trandoshan slaver named Trex. As they flee through the sun-baked streets, the renegades duck into the local cantina to hide from their pursuers. Let's have you all introduce yourselves.
Kyle here. I am a Wookiee hired gun. My name is... No.
That's Lowhhrick in basic.
Yes.
If you want to call him by his slave name.
Ha! I feel like it's a quick way to get your arms ripped off.
Exactly.
We've got Lowhhrick, and we've got Pash.
Yeah, I'm Pash. I'm a Corellian human, basically a Han Solo proxy scoundrel. Smuggler. He was doing a job for Teemo the Hutt, but he got in a run-in with customs, I believe, and now he's crash landed here, and he knows that Teemo is not going to be pleased when he finds him, so he's looking for a way out of Mos Shuuta.
Lowhhrick and his vibro-axe have served Teemo for many years, but the slaver Trex has been pressing Teemo every time he visits for a chance to fight Lowhhrick in a death bout and add Lowhhrick's pelt to his collection of prizes that'll get him in better spot in the Trandoshan afterlife. Teemo said no so far, but Trex said the next time he was going to be on Mos Shuuta, he would bring a prize that would more than replace the Wookiee in Teemo's eyes. And the Krayt Fang is back. Lowhhrick reached out to a couple of friends he had in the palace, and he's managed to escape, but he knows that the Gamorreans are right behind him. So he's ducked into the cantina, where he's run into Pash, the Corellian smuggler we were already introduced to. Pash is in a heap of trouble because the unreliable ship, the Var, he'd been flying for Teemo, has finally been given up its last legs, assisted by a customs patrol, which might have fired a couple of blasts across his bow and into his fuselage. The ship went down hard in the Dune Sea, but Pash survived. And he managed to make it back to Mos Shuuta, but he knows that if he reports to Teemo, the odds are only 50-50 that he'll survive. So he needs at least a drink to brace himself before he deals with that. He's already in the cantina when Lowhhrick ducks in. And we've got two Force users. A pair of Jedi, Knight Hallan Kintru and his Padawan, Yigan Lan, are also crash-landed on Tatooine. They were on their way back from operations, doing some sort of Clone Warsy mission with some clones. They went down and the clones didn't survive. Hallan, a Twi'lek, hasn't fared too bad on the march across the dunes towards the Mesa town that they saw on their way down. His Padawan, Yigan, she's not nearly as suited for arid temperatures as Twi'lek is, and needs some refreshment. Both Jedi need to find a way off this Mesa, and they've head for the cantina on the heels of a worried-feeling Wookiee. And just as they turn the corner on their way into the cantina, they see Gamorreans heading out of Teemo's palace with an inquisitive look in their eye. So, Lowhhrick, you and the Jedi right behind you step down a short flight of stairs into the container's shadowy common room. The cool air is a blessed relief from the scorching heat of Tatooine. The Deveronian bartender pauses in his chores to stare at you, his devilish features intimidating. On a stage against the far wall, a Twi'lek woman dances to recorded music. Private booths line the wall, and the cantina floor is scattered with tables and chairs. A few patrons turn in their seats to stare at you. The only other exits you see from the room are what looks to be a storage closet in one corner and a doorway behind the Twi'lek dancer. The arched roof above you is supported by thick, heavy struts. You only have a few moments to find a hiding place before Teemo's thugs arrive. Also present among the patrons is Pash. So have all come into the entry foyer, and the Jedi don't necessarily know what's going on, but you're in tune enough with your surroundings to understand that this Wookiee is worried and those Gamorreans had ill intent. We'll start with Lowhhrick, since he's coming in first. Then we'll get Pash's reaction, and then we'll go to the Jedi. How about to provide some structure? Because I'm sure the Jedi will converse amongst themselves as part of the decision-making process. So Lowhhrick, you haven't even noticed these other two behind you, other than that there are two people, and they aren't Teemo's yet, but you've made it into the bar here.
I'm gonna briskly, but not like, casually, walk over to the bar, and I want to sit down between the Aqualish and the Rodian. Act like I've been talking to them for a while. Try and blend in.
You're just gonna try to blend.
I'm gonna try and blend.
Okay.
I'm a huge Wookiee, but I'm still gonna try and blend.
Yeah. Let me see. Sitting down at the bar as if nothing was wrong, because only a madman would do that. So that's going to be a cool check to attempt to just coolly and calmly just sit down as if nothing else is the matter and you belong here like anyone else. And you successfully, and with an advantage, managed to just sidle in there like you've been here all day. With that advantage, you can sort of pass that on to someone else, or maybe notice something going on. Maybe, I don't know if, you and Pash know each other particularly well, since you're down in the fighting pits and Pash is running smuggling jobs, but I'm sure he's seen you, and it would be odd for you not to be in, you live locked up.
Right, why am I out and about?
Prisoner, yes. Pash, we'll go to the Corellian. You've noticed one of Teemo's gladiators come in with a worried, sort of franticness, but once he made it into the cantina, he managed to sort of get up to the bar, and now he's looking as natural as he can over there.
I believe Pash would also go over to the bar. So he's going to come over to Lowhhrick and try and find out why he has been allowed out of the gladiator pits.
You look like you belong when the pigs come in. You're not going to stand out like a sore thumb and go straight into combat. But now, yes, please roleplay between yourselves, and I'll shut up.
Lowhhrick, what are you doing out of the pits? It's been a few cycles, but I didn't think Teemo would ever let you out of there.
Indeed, it has been a while. There's a lot going on in the pits these days. Besides, how do you have time to be drinking in the bar? Shouldn't you be fetching starships?
Well, that's the thing. It's not sure if my number might be up on this one. The spice I was running for Teemo, we got intercepted by customs, and I'm not looking forward to having to make that plea for mercy.
Well,
I might be facing you down there.
In that case, I don't mind telling you I'm in a similar boat. I've got the Trandoshan's gunning for me, and I think he's finally convinced the boss to take his shot at me, so I'm really not trying to go back to those pits. I didn't want to tell you that in case you were still up there, but it sounds like we're both kind of on our last legs here.
It's not looking good. You heard anything about any ships coming out from the palace?
It's difficult to say. I'm kind of just waiting for an opportunity, looking for a pilot-looking type in this cantina. I was going to follow him back to the spaceport, maybe jump him.
Well, if you got a pilot, I can give you that. I can fly anything, but
I mean, looking around
I
at
gotta find a ship first.
these
There's not too
Aqualish
much
and Rodian, no offense, they don't look like they've got the chops.
Well, if we can find a ship, I'll fly it. I'll get us out of here.
All right, fair enough. We got to lay low for a minute, though. I think I smelled some Gamorreans a couple feet behind me when I was walking in here.
Yes, and indeed, as we pan over to the entrance of the cantina, there are two figures silhouetted, but they are not Gamorreans. It is our two erstwhile Jedi who've made a long trudge across the Dune Sea, and I know Yigan Lan certainly needs to recuperate before they attempt to find transport off the mesa. You guys do not have any particular fear of the Gamorreans that you are quite aware are making their way towards the cantina, just meters behind you. But as I said, the Force did indicate to you that the Wookiee seemed of concern. So you're aware of that situation tangentially, but do have your own concerns, which again seem to line up through narrative convenience.
My dear Padawan, since we are in the Outer Rims, we aren't necessarily in danger, but the Force does move around this building as if a predator about to strike prey. We should make our way to the back of the establishment, but hide our pauldrons and like not make it completely obvious that we are part of the Republic.
So you're going to set yourselves up in one of these booths?
In the back.
If you look at the equipment list on the next page, indeed you're wearing Jedi Commander armor, but you don't have a hooded robe. So you have 2 successes, and you have successfully gotten yourself back into the shadows so that your armor is not standing out. You just look like another twee in a bar on Tatooine. Padawan, you wanted to make a different check?
So I'm keeping my or I've got heavy robes, so I'm going to just make sure that those robes have their hood up. I don't need to be either. But I am extremely wary from this long hike in the desert. And
so you want to try to recover?
Yeah, I'm going to try to recover some water or hydrate myself or do something to kind of better.
Okay.
You know,
Excellent. So if you speak to the bartender and you were successful, you have overheard most of the conversation between these 2 fellows about the fact that they are both in hock with the same hut.
Did I also, what about the refreshments also? That was kind of important as well.
Roll the dice to see if I'm getting drunk.
The 2 gentlemen that the Gamorreans are after have successfully hidden themselves via cool checks, and they're not interested in the other 2. So the fact that the Padawan did something else doesn't matter, and we go into the everyone was successful brand. Moments after you hide yourselves, a small troop of pig-like Gamorreans carrying heavy bone-breaking clubs step through the door. Teemo's enforcers. They blink their beady little eyes in the gloom, peering about. Then, seeing nothing of interest, they grunt and whine in their primitive language and turn to go. Lowhhrick, you know they're going to keep looking for you until you take them out. And with their backs turned, it's the perfect moment to strike. You have a strain threshold of 8. Wookiees are not very mentally robust, although they are physically strong.
Okay, so I'm going to utilize that physical strength, and I am going to dash directly away from the bar towards that corner booth.
Okay.
And I'm going to rip the table up and throw it at the Gamorreans.
Okay, cool. Okay, yes, so you did not successfully rip off the tabletop and throw it, but you did successfully rip off the tabletop. So
I'm just holding it?
You have it. Yes, and you have 3 advantage, and you can decide how they are spent.
Can I use the advantage to then unsheath my vibro axe and wield the table like a huge shield?
You can take a free maneuver, and you can now be dual-wielding the tabletop with basic shield stats. Why not? And your vibro axe is a 2-handed weapon, but you are a Wookiee. So it'll allow you to use it one-handedly, but cumbersomely by adding a black die to your attack rolls. And your attack rolls are pretty good, so I think you'll be all right. So, Lowhhrick, seeing the Gamorreans come in and then turn their backs on you, you dash across the room to the closest table to the door, the Dejarik table. You rip the tabletop right off its mounting, causing the holograms to flash to life briefly and then die. You don't have time to throw the table, and in the dark, you don't really know if you'll be able to get them. So instead, you thrust your arm into the wiring on the back of it, and you unsheath your vibro axe, holding it awkwardly in your free hand. All right, the pigs are next, and they have definitely noticed that going on. So they already have their clubs out, and one of them is going to come right at you, Lowhhrick, to make an attack. For the maneuvers of the other 2, one is going to move here and not attack you, and the other one is going to take up a guarded stance in the door. But the one who's attacking you is going to make a melee check against you. You're now holding a shield. It is only an improvised shield, but a shield nonetheless, and a shield would give you 1 point of defense, generally. So I'm going to add a black die to the difficulty of the Gamorreans attacking you. So yellow, green, green, purple, purple, setback for the Gamorrean to swipe at you. And he succeeds with 2 advantage. His damage is 5.
Damn. It's the last time I used a Dejarik table as a shield.
Well, you got a point of defense. It just didn't work. The Gamorrean gets 2, has 2 advantage, and he is going to use them to give his buddy a free maneuver that does not exceed the or he's going to take a free maneuver that does not exceed the 2 maneuver per turn limit with his 2 advantage, and he's going to move to the other side of you. He's going to stay engaged with you, but make another short range maneuver to be further into the bar.
Oh, they're going to tag team me, aren't they?
So Pash saw his companion at the bar dash out, and now is on the verge of getting surrounded.
Yes, one Gamorrean is engaged to him. The other one is at short range.
Target
still.
the one that is not engaged. So he's going to stay at the bar and draw his blaster pistol as an incidental with quick draw, and then I'm going to double aim actually at the.
You're going to take strain to double aim.
Yep. All right.
Yeah.
So I have. Let me see my
2
blaster.
successes and 5 advantages. So he soaks 3 and he takes 5, and he's just barely still standing.
Nice.
What's the crit on that?
The crit rating is 4, and you have. All right, so you're going to crit. So go ahead and roll your crit. Boom. All right, so you rolled a 69. Nice. It is an average. It's a medium crit, so it would take 2 purples for a medic to remove.
Okay, so that took 4, and with my
And
last.
you have 1 more. Yes.
So I'm going to recover 1 strain with my last.
Okay. All right. Cool. Yigan, probably you would go next.
So I would like to, while this is going on and hopefully not causing a scene, grab my beverage and walk, coolly and without causing a stir over to my master.
You don't need to make a check to do that at all.
All right. I would, while they're fighting, humbly tell my master about the situation and what's going on, everything he's all about. Master, I believe we would have some solutions to some of our problems, but there's some unfortunate news. Situation going on behind me is a result of that.
Oh, yes, I see. I certainly noticed that there is also a third at the door. So what I suggest we can do, if you truly think that these 2 can help us, even though they don't have a ship themselves, they are trying to leave the planet also. Depending on how battle ready you're feeling, if you...
Master, you've trained me well. I'm ready to go.
If you take out, or if you focus on the person on the door, I'm gonna do some Kylo Ren shit, and I'm gonna force freeze the 2 combatants that the Wookiee is fighting. So I'm gonna force freeze 2 people.
Oh, and you're going to grab them this turn? Excellent.
With the force bind, yeah.
You generated 2 light side and 1 dark side pips. You can freeze 1, or you can use that bit of dark side and freeze both. You want to grab them both, or do you want to just grab 1? Okay, so you push a little. The force is there with you, not all the way, Hallan. So you bear down a little bit and push through. Take a little bit of strain. Take one point of strain, and then you will be able to grab both of those Gamorreans. They are immobilized.
One thing, since he used dark side pips, he actually inflicts wounds, also ignoring soak.
Oh snap! So one of the pigs takes a wound,
and I think he's dead.
Both of them do.
What?
Yeah. So you killed one of them.
You bound him to
The one that got shot. The one wound that is taken by the one that got shot kills it, and the other one takes 1 wound. You're right.
What the hell kind of force bind is that?
It did 1 point.
It did 1, but he only had 1.
But one guy only had 1 wound left.
I gave him a heart attack.
Yeah, basically. Yes.
Excellent.
Yeah. A lot of these force powers do double duty, so immobilize is also your option for choke. You know?
There's
Darth
like
Vader only immobilizes the throat.
That's a great sentence.
So you just killed someone with the dark side. Master Windu is gonna chew you out.
I mean, not
when you get
really.
Back to the temple.
Master, how could you?
I didn't. He had a heart condition. Okay, it's different. This is war.
If I can do something, it would be my master just killed some dude in the bar. I don't know what's gonna happen. I'm gonna pull out the lightsaber.
That's cool. All right, so you're lightsabered out. Which pig do you want to take on?
I'm gonna go with the one that the Wookiee is fighting.
2 successes. So the pig does not soak any of the 6 + 2, 8 points of damage, which are more than his full health, and he has already been wounded. So he goes down with a vicious plasma burn across his fleshy hide. There is a smell not unlike bacon. Lowhhrick, the Gamorrean who was squared off against you, gives a surprise squeal and goes down, and a small dark-skinned human holding a meter of burning plasma is standing behind the fallen pig. The one at the door gets to go, and he's going to decide that though he is just a Gamorrean, he's smart enough not to hang, and he dips. The Gamorreans are defeated. The silence that follows is broken by slow, unamused applause.
With such surprise at seeing this lightsaber, I drop the table that I'm holding, but I definitely still make sure that it lands on the dead guy.
Nice. Excellent. The Deveronian bartender approaches and laughs a brittle laugh.
I guess you're folks who need to get off the planet in a hurry. The good news for you is I happen to know that there's a freighter in Landing Bay Auric right now. The bad news is its captain is Trex, and he's an associate of Teemo's, and he's not just going to let you on his ship. The other bad news is I know the reason it's still in the landing bay is that the hypermatter reactor igniter is broken, and it's not going to fly anywhere until it gets a new one installed. But I bet Vorn over at the junk shop has one.
Then he points to the door.
Now get the criff out of my cantina.